I've been trying to record all of our Zoom meetings and upload them. I don't know that I'm going to do it on this one because I don't know that it's going to be beneficial to anyone. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write this down. You may have to write it down too. Just keep track of what we're doing here. Okay, so we've got August 19th. All right, and we're doing a TI-84. Let's just say TI-84 practice. Okay, now something that I did not demonstrate, but I was hoping, all right, that I didn't have to demonstrate because it was easy enough. One of the videos that you were supposed to watch a week ago on Friday was how to use the fraction button on the graphing calculator. All right, so what I want to see if you can do, I want you to do like 23 and 17 over 19 minus 42 and 8 over 13. All right, so write it down so you'll know what it is, okay? And then take your graphing calculator. All right, if you're in the room, you're physically using it. If you're at home, you are using your online version. And then use your fraction button. And come up with the answer. Oops, I didn't need to do that. And I'm doing it on mine too, so we'll kind of know. So we'll kind of know what's going on there. I'm going to punch it in mine so that way we'll know about how long it's going to take, or I'll know about how long it's going to take for you guys to do this. Okay, now depending on how everybody's calculator is set, all right, you may get different things. All right, I currently have my graphing calculator set to decimals, which is not necessarily the best way. All right, but if you're in the room, you are using a calculator that somebody else has used multiple times. All right, so it might be set to decimals or it might be set to fractions. Okay, as a decimal, just in case, if your calculator was set to decimal, it came up to 18.7206477. That's what I see in my window. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, see, that's it. You got to do more than just watch it. You got to watch it, memorize it, practice it so that you know where it's at. All right, after you put 23 in, then you do second y equals. No, is it second y equals? No, that's not right. You do alpha y equals. I do it so naturally. So put 23 in and then alpha y equals. And then your fraction menu comes up. Does that now look like that did in the video? Yep. Gavin? Well, if you just do 23 and then alpha y equals and select 2, if you're at home, this is going to be challenging for you to try, okay? But my purpose today was not to tell you what the buttons are because you were supposed to watch the videos last Friday. We demonstrated some things in class on Monday, and I told you to continue to practice so that you mastered it, okay? So if right now you are struggling, if you're at home and you're struggling and you don't know what buttons to press, or you're in the room and you don't know what buttons to press, that means you didn't do what I told you to do. Okay? Higher expectations than when you were in middle school. All right, for those of you that actually have your calculator set as a fraction. I'm going to switch mine back. If I can get it switched back. Oh no, there's a way, because I showed you in the video. You got to play around. I think it's the third thing under the, I think it's the third thing. Second answer. All right, as an improper fraction. So Camden, did you get an improper fraction? Yeah, so negative 4624 over 247, right? Yeah, because if the calculator is set to fraction, it gives you that improper fraction right there. All right, now let's try alpha y equals, and then hit 3, because your 3 under your fraction menu is going to go back and forth between a mixed number and an improper fraction. Okay, so then this is a negative 18 and then a 178 over 247. All right, now we don't want a decimal answer. All right, you don't want a decimal answer. Okay, it's a fraction problem. You should have a fraction thing right here. All right, is anybody that's sitting in the room that's got one of the school calculators, did anybody get the decimal? Okay, so that meant it was set that way automatically. All right. I'm going to zoom in right here because I don't want to switch back and forth to projecting what I projected the other day. Okay, so the mode key right there. Okay, if I hit the mode key, all right, all my different modes come up. People at home, I'm going to move that over just a little bit. All right, if I arrow down, you can see the flashing thing moving down. As I move all the way down to answers, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more for those people at home. Ooh, I can't get over that part though. All right, my calculator right now is set on fraction approximation. It was set on DEC, which was decimal, okay? And it's flashing on auto. I don't want auto. All right, I don't want auto, but I can just arrow left and right through there. If I wanted to switch it to decimal, I could. If I want to switch it to fraction, I could. So if at any point in time you're doing the school calculators and it's not coming up the right way, you can switch it to fraction approximation, okay? 23, putting 23 in, alpha y equals, gives you that fraction button, okay? Those are your 3 different types of things. You can turn a fraction into a decimal into a fraction. That third one does mixed numbers, okay? So some of you probably are going to need to go back and rewatch that video or practice with a bunch of fraction problems. All right, you can literally make up, I wouldn't necessarily do great big numbers like that, but you could do 2 3/8 plus 5 7/9. Okay, you could just make up fraction problems, try to add, subtract, multiply, and divide them, and then try to switch between an improper fraction to a mixed number to an improper fraction. Okay, you can also take this and convert it to a decimal. Okay, so you need to practice this because I probably will not announce when we're going to take a quiz over the graphing calculator. We're just going to do it, like, because you got to get on it. Okay, welcome to high school. I'm smiling, said with as much love as I possibly can. Welcome to high school. Okay, higher expectations. Okay, all right, so I definitely wanted to touch on the fraction button. All right, now things that I actually demonstrated last Monday of this week when we were doing this. We found x-intercepts and y-intercepts. Okay, so we found x-intercepts in class and we found y-intercepts.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes.
Jackson got logged out and he's in the waiting room still.
Ah, yes, thank you.
Yep.
I heard that ding and I didn't know what the heck it was. Okay, there we go. There we go. Got him in. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Okay, so most of the time you're only going to have one y-intercept, no matter what the equation looks like. On x-intercepts, you might have 2 or 3 of them. Now, if I ask you to find x and y intercepts, you're going to write your answer as Not slope-intercept form, but that is a math thing. An intercept, what's the definition of an x-intercept? It's the, I don't want to say it. Here's my coordinate plane. I can have any type of curve on there that I want. All right, this is an x-intercept, right? That's the point at which the graph crosses the x-axis. The point at which the graph crosses the x-axis. So those are x-intercepts, and I just said they're points. All right, so I should write x and y intercepts as ordered pairs. Okay, I'm going to write my x and y intercepts as ordered pairs because they are points at which the graph crosses the x-axis. All right, if I try to do this with a different color, right there, y-intercept right there. And again, see that it had one y-intercept. All right, because most graphs, no, I won't say that, even most. All right, we'll just say at least the ones that we're going to work with this year are probably going to have one y-intercept. All right, so let's say we had y equals a negative x to the third plus 7x minus 2. All right, it's a cubic equation. We had talked about cubic equations on Monday. I kind of showed you what they look like. All right, now what I want you to do with your graphing calculator, and see here again, I am expecting that at this point you've got it memorized because we've done it enough. Okay, put this into y1 and then find all of your x-intercepts and then find your y-intercept. So I'm asking you to recall what was done on Monday. And I'm going to give you a minute to do that. I'm going to put it in mine so that I can time this about how long it should take you. I am assuming that you remember. I don't know why I did that. This particular one does take a little bit of time. Like you put that in and then you go to the graph. All right, it's a more complicated graph, so it takes a little bit of time for that to actually show up in the window. Okay. Hopefully you are seeing 3 x-intercepts. All right, that's my little hint. You're seeing 3 of them, so you're going to have to do it 3 times. You should be seeing 1 y-intercept. Okay, you should be seeing 1 y-intercept. On your x-intercepts, let's round to 2 places after the decimal point. All right, because they're going to be great big long decimals. Okay, they're gonna be way too long to write the whole number down. So on the x coordinate, go out 2 places to the right of the decimal point. Go out 2 places to the right of the decimal point. I should be doing this so I know how long it's going to take you. You've got to do it in somewhat of a systematic method, like you should try to find the x-intercept that's on the farthest left side first. And then don't worry about whatever that y-coordinate is, because you know the y-coordinate on all of these are going to be 0. All right, the graphing calculator is not giving you a 0 because it's giving you on the, I found the very first one on the far left, and it says -1 e -12, which means -1 times 10 to the -12th power, which means it's going to be a really tiny number, which basically it's 0. Okay, so graphing calculator is massively precise. Okay, so at this point, you should have at least found the first one. The first one is a -2 point, and if I'm going out 2 places, 7, 8, and then I write it with a 0. Okay, were we successful on the first one? We've got a couple yeses in the room. We got a couple no's in the room. All right, what's your key sequence to get you to the menu that you need to find your zeros? Second calc. Second calc was what we did on Monday. And then you selected 0 from that list. I'm going to find the second one while you are trying to find it as well. Okay, I found a second one. Second one, 0.29 if I round out to 2 places, because it's 0.28916 something, 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 something. All right, so I got a 0.29 there. Did we have some success on that one? Okay, I got more yeses on this one. I got more yeses in the room. I don't know what I'm getting at home. All right, but the people in the room, I got more heads shaking yes. Okay, I'm going to find the last one. All right, I found the last one going out 2 places to the right. 2.49, rounding that because it was a 2.4892 something, something, something. Okay, so there's the 3. Okay, did we get some on that? Were we successful with the third one? Okay, second calc gets you to the menu that you need, and you're selecting 0 off of that menu because these are the x-intercepts, but they're also called the zeros of the function. All right, we talked about that on Monday. Okay, now we had to do a different key sequence to find that y-intercept. All right, we did do second calc because everything right now that we're doing off that menu is second calc. So you're going to go back to that second. When you're ready to find this, you're going to go back and hit second calc. Okay, and then if you were trying to find the y-intercept, which one of those menu options did you pick? Because it doesn't say y-intercept. Say that again. Yes. You pick the value, which is the number 1 thing on the list. And then it asks you for an x value. All right, we know all y-intercepts have an x value of 0. That's what makes them a y-intercept. So you punch in 0. And then on this one, it spits out a -2. All right, so actually your y-intercept is a whole lot quicker to find, okay, than the x-intercepts. Okay, so my guess is, my suggestion, not my guess, my suggestion is that if you are struggling right now, you need to go back and watch Monday's Zoom lesson. You can watch the backup video, and there's also 5 videos, and one of them covers x-intercepts in those that first assignment I gave you a week ago on Friday. Okay, whether you're at home or in your room, I'm getting a lot of heads nodding yes in here that they were successful after a while on that. Okay, but you've got to be able to do this, and you've got to be able to do it quickly. Okay, and it takes practice. It just takes practice. All right, and if you wanted to practice this at home, okay, all right, well, we did this in class, right? Well, if you wanted to practice, couldn't you do negative x to the third plus, couldn't you change that to a 5x minus 3? All right, you could change this number and change this number. It's going to give you a different graph, and then you could practice finding x and y intercepts on your own. Okay, so, and if you would change it if you change it too much, it might, you know, go off the screen. It might be too big, but that's okay if that happens because you know how to adjust the window. Okay, you should know how to adjust the window because we did that on Monday as well. Okay, so we've done x and y intercepts. All right, or attempted to practice those. Let's do what do I want to practice next. Trying to think about what I want to make you be able to do. We did x and y intercepts. Did I talk about the XY table on the graph, on the calculator? Did I talk about that on Monday? Did I show you the XY table? Anybody remember? Okay, yeah, I don't think so. I did not talk about the XY table, I don't think. If you watched one of those videos from a week ago Friday, I did, because one of them was the auto and ask feature of the XY table. All right, so let's do that and do a little bit of demonstrating, and I'll actually demonstrate this. Okay, so there's a thing called an XY table. You used XY tables when you initially learned how to graph a linear equation. Okay, so first of all, just to what is an XY table? Okay, so if I had something like y equals 2x plus 4, if you remember, we made, probably when you're in about 7th grade, maybe even 6th grade, all right, we had you make a little thing like this called an XY table. It might have even had the middle section in there. All right, and we told you to put numbers in like -1, 0, negative, or +1. Okay, -1, 0, +1. Plug it into the equation, work it out. Everybody remember doing this, right? Yeah, you did this last year. You should have. So that'd be -2. So that's 2. Don't let me make a mistake. Plug in 0. That's going to be 4. Plug in 1. Is that going to be 6? Did I do that right? Okay, so what that does then, this creates the ordered pair -1, 2. It creates the ordered pair 0, 4. It creates the ordered pair 1, 6. And then you could plot those, and it should come up to be a straight line. Okay, so this XY table that you last year did by hand, all right, the graphing calculator is going to create that for you. Okay, so I'm going to zoom back in if we're doing this. All right, that was just my last graph. Second quit gets you out of just about everything. Second quit gets you out of almost everything, get you back to that blank screen. So it's a very, very helpful thing. All right, now we just messed with y equals 2x plus 4. All right, so let's go into y equals. Clear out whatever you have there. All right, and then let's put in the 2x plus 4. Because I just did that one by hand, so we know what the answers are going to be like. So clear it out, put that in there. Okay, now second graph or second table, because the word table is right above the word graph. Second is in blue, table is in blue. So second table takes you to the XY table. All right, and then it should, depending on, like, I don't know how your how the calculators are set for you at home on your internet, but the ones in the room, okay, again, we got seniors using these calculators in calculus and seniors in pre-calc using them. So they may be set differently. Mine came up in fractions. Yours might have come up in decimals. Okay, but because I had set mine to fraction approximation earlier, it put it as fractions. Okay, and these are just randomly generated because I've got right now, I have my calculator set to auto calculate those. All right, now let's say you get that and you don't want that. So I want maybe say decimals, integers, whole numbers on that. Okay, so I'm going to go into the mode. I need to move that over so they can see me hit mode. All right, so I'm going to hit the mode button. All right, I'm going to go back down to my answers. I'm going to select auto and see if that works. I could select decimal, but auto is usually what I like, so it automatically picks what I need. All right, now second table. I go back in, it went to decimals, okay, which is better. Okay, now I'm just going to scroll up and down a little bit. Okay, do you remember in the table that I did just a minute ago? I put in 1, didn't I? I put in 1 and I got out 6. There's 1, 6. Okay. Now, it looks like my calculator is not on auto. Okay, now watch what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that this is set to auto generate. Okay, so I am going to do, is everybody to, like, you got a screen that looks like this, right? Okay, second window, second table set, because table set is in blue. If I do second table set, okay, this comes up. I don't care where the table starts at. Delta table is like what it's going to count by. independent and dependent variable, okay? If I set both of them to auto, that means the calculator is going to automatically pick the independent variable, which is the x, and then the dependent variable is going to be on auto, and it's going to actually tell you what the answer is. So it's going to automatically do that. Now, if it's set to auto, which in the room, I'll bet every one of them was set ask auto, wasn't it? Yeah, because in calculus, we want it on ask auto. All right, so all the calc kids are going to hate you guys because you just switched the calculators to a different mode. All right, I'm going to go back and look at my table. So second table. All right, and then there's 0, and we had calculated 4. There's 1, we had calculated 6. I can scroll up and down this list, and it's automatically generating those numbers. Okay, so we had said -1 was 2. If I would have done it by hand with a -2, I would have got 0. If I would have done it with a 2, I would have got 8. Okay. Now, let's go back to second table set. All right, let's put it back on ask. Because the calculus kids like it on ask. Now, this is not going to be hard because your guys' equation was easier, but you've got it on ask, and then you've got the dependent variable on auto. Okay, now let's go in and look at our y equals just to look at it just for a minute so I got something to point to. Okay, we've got 2x plus 4 in there. When I've got the independent variable on ask, what the calculator is going to do is it's going to ask you what x value would you like it to solve. All right, so let's say you needed to know what y was if x is 354. All right, now obviously we could take 354 times 2 plus 4 and it wouldn't be hard. All right, but when this equation gets hard and more complicated, having it on ask is really, really nice because you just punch in whatever number you need and it spits out the y. That makes sense? Okay, so let's go second table to get to our table. All right, and on mine, which I won't guarantee every calculator did this, but on mine, it cleared it out. Okay, because it's waiting. And look down here in the bottom left-hand corner, it says x equals. It's wanting me to put in an x value. So if I wanted to do, let's do something that I can still do in my head. Let's put in 200. Okay. We know what the equation was, right? It was 2x plus 4. So 2 times 200 is 400. Plus another 4 is going to be 404. It spits out 404. Okay. There again, this equation was really easy, so you guys could do that in your head. Okay. Eventually, the equations will be so hard, you're going to want the calculator to do that for you. Okay, so there's auto and ask. Now, technically, you were supposed to have already watched a video that talked about auto and ask and showed you how to do it. If I tell you watch 5 videos and learn how to do it, it's not just, oh, sit there and watch it and then not ever think about it again. It's watch the video and learn how to do that independently. Every time the assignment is watch a video and learn how to do it. I am expecting you to become proficient at using it. That makes sense? Okay, so a higher expectation, all right, than from when you were in the middle school. Okay. All right, so if that's the case, let's go back to y equals, whoops. Let's go back to the y equals. Let's clear that out. And let's put in 2x raised to the 4th power, arrow to the right, and then do plus 3x squared minus 6x plus 8. Okay, so obviously that's way more complicated, and it's to the 4th power, okay, and that's okay. It doesn't matter what that is. That's a polynomial curve, which you'll learn later. I used the word polynomial with you guys last December. We added and subtracted polynomials. Okay, so a polynomial is just a string of terms. Okay, now this one, if I tried to generate an XY table, I wouldn't want to do that by hand. Okay, because if I did that by hand, I'd have to take whatever x was to the 4th power and then times 2, add that to whatever I get when I took the x number and squared it and then multiplied by 3. I would not want to do this one. I would not want to generate an XY table by hand. Okay, so I had my calculator on ask, right? That's where it was. Okay, so if yours is not on ask, put it on ask. Okay, so I'll give you 2 seconds. If yours is not on ask, second table set, make sure it says ask for the independent and the dependent is auto. Okay, and then go to your table, second table. All right. If I arrow down, it gets off my little 200 there. All right, let's put in like, I don't know, put in 35 and see what it spits out. Oh, good, good choice. All right, I put in 35 and it spit out 3E6. Okay, it spit out 3E6, 3E6. All right, so what that means, it's scientific notation. All right, hopefully you did scientific notation surely in 7th grade, 8th grade, science, math, something. All right, but that's what scientific notation looks like on a calculator. All right, now what that translates into is 3 times 10 to the 6th, because they give you whatever is to the left and then they give you the exponent. So when you see 3E6 in the calculator, it means 3 times 10 to the 6th, which is a really, really, really big number. See, so you didn't want to calculate that number by hand. Okay, you definitely did not. Let's put a smaller number in, like 5. Put in 5. Yeah, see, that's much more reasonable. So that spit out 5 for the X value, and then 1,303 for the Y value. So that creates the ordered pair 5, 1,303 as an ordered pair that would be on that graph. Okay, obviously I wouldn't want to graph that by hand, would I? So that's not going to be good. All right. Let's go back. I hit Y equals. Let's go back and look at that. I just want to look at, see how nasty that's going to be. Okay, at 5, it's going to be really, really big. Okay, so let's suppose I want to go look at it. Okay, now I don't want to do zoom standard. Okay, I definitely don't want to do zoom standard because a standard window goes from -10 to 10, and then from -10 to 10. That's not going to be big enough to get this because we already know there's a number that's going to be plotted at 5, 1,303. All right, so I might try zoom, and then let's go all the way down. Yeah, zoom fit. All right, let's cross our fingers in hopes that that works, because it may or may not work. I don't know. I went second zoom, arrowed down to zoom fit. I don't know. Let's see what happens, because I haven't. Now it's thinking. It's thinking. Okay, it's thinking. It's like when you see that little spinny thing in the top right-hand corner. Okay, now this is not a very good picture. All right, it's not. But what it did was on that zoom fit, it had to squish everything in there. You can't even see the hash marks on that Y axis because there's so many on there. Okay, but I don't remember what the equation was now. I keep forgetting what it was. It was a 2x to the 4th. All right, a little bit later, which probably not here, but a little bit later, we're going to find out, any x to an even number is going to look like your parabolas, okay? And so that kind of did look like a parabola. All right, it's going to have lots of hills and valleys in it, but the graphing calculator distorted it so much I can't see the hills and valleys, okay? And if I don't want to take the time because it could take a long time, but if I wanted to try to manipulate that window even better, I could hit the window button and then I could change these different values. See that Y max, the calculator automatically picked 20,361 and counted by ones. Okay, so I could play with those numbers and it might get a better picture. It might not be as distorted. Okay. That little ding is telling me I gotta let people back in. There we go. All right, so now I've demonstrated the auto and ask. Okay, we did fractions. We did some X and Y intercepts. All right, now let me go to another piece of paper. Now that I've got other things, I'm going to.
The girl.
Say that again.
Is it a girl or a guy?
Say what?
Holly, mute yourself.
Sorry.
Yeah. That means you're not totally paying attention to me if you're talking to somebody else. You guys are talking on the phone or on another website. If I had your cameras on, I could watch all you guys. Okay. Picking on him a little bit. Now, we tried the fraction button, and then we went to other things. We went to the X and Y intercepts. We went to the auto and ask. All right. Now, do you remember how to do the fraction buttons? Okay. So let's try a fraction again. Okay. Let's make the numbers not so big. Let's do 17 and 7/9 minus, let's do minus a negative. 30 and 1/4. Okay, I'll move this out of the way. The minus sign and the negative sign are two different buttons. The negative sign is down there to the left of the enter. It's in the bottom right-hand corner of the calculator. So make sure you are in the right spot. And mine went to a mixed number, okay? Because it's probably going to always, like do the mixed number. Okay, as a mixed number, I got 1,729 over 36. All right, now use the calculator and convert that to a mixed number. All right, alpha y equals, and then 3 off the menu because that converts it. Okay, so converted 48 and 1 over 36. Okay, so did we all get that? I will never ask for a decimal. We don't want a decimal. We want that. All right, and I'm pretty sure we put it back on auto, so it's going to give you fractions if you put fractions in. Okay, now let's go back to our X and Y intercepts. Let's see what you're going to do with this. Let's do y equals. Let's do a 1/4 x to the third minus 5x minus 1/5 x squared plus 4. Now let's make sure I didn't screw that up. Minus 5x minus 1/5 plus 4. Okay. Now, when you put this equation in, are you going to have to use your fraction button? Yeah, put your don't do 0.25, don't do 0.2. Put it in as a fraction. Put a fraction in when you go into your y equals button, your y equals 1, that's where you're putting it. Okay, use your fraction button, get it entered. It may take you a minute to get it entered. I'm going to enter it in mine. Okay, after you get the equation put in, do the graph. You might want to zoom standard on the graph because we had a pretty funky window in there just a minute ago. It'll take a while for the polynomial curve to graph. Okay, how many x-intercepts are there? How many do you see? How many x-intercepts do you see? Grace, how many do you see? Yep, we see 3 x-intercepts. Okay, how many y-intercepts? Gavin, how many y-intercepts? Are you in yet? Oh, it's still, okay. So now look at it. How many y-intercepts do you see? One. You only see one y-intercepts. Yeah, Addison? It says error would be my guess because right here or right here, you might have used a negative sign instead of the minus sign. So if you remember how we inserted, you can arrow around in there and then hit the minus sign as opposed to, or you can clear it out and type the whole thing back in. All right, but yeah, if you get an error, that means you've probably typed in the wrong thing. All right, go ahead, find the x-intercepts. You've got 3 of them to find. Find the y-intercept. You'll only have 1 of those to find. Addison, if you can't get it, did you get it? Not yet. Okay, if you can't, let me know. Yeah, Addison. Still says there, bring calculator up. Let me see. Let me see what we got going here. Okay, so it's coming up. I went in and I pressed the minus button, and all I did was put it on top of here and then hit the minus. I put it on top of here and hit the minus, and then I went to the end and then it graphed it. Okay, so it had to be in the way you were entering those 2 signs right there. Okay, so do we have the far one on the left yet? How are we coming? Far one on the left. Grace is shaking her head. Nope, 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 not yet. I'm going to sketch the picture of it here. All right, so basically that's what it looks like, right? The graph of it looks like that. Say that again, Gavin. 4.4 out one place, but not positive because that'd have to be negative. That'd have to be negative. All right, so Gavin found that one. Okay. All right, going out, I'm going to go out 2 places, okay, because I said round out 2 places. All right, negative 4.470. Negative 4.47 and then 0, written as an ordered pair because it's an x-intercept. So that one's right there. Okay, if you're getting some type of error, if you get a sign change error, that means when it's asking for the left bound and the right bound, you're not putting it in the right spot. Of this x-intercept, this part right here is your left bound that it's asking for. All right, and then this up here is your right bound when the calculator asks for those questions. All right, so as you go around the graph, that left and right is going to change. Okay, it's going to change. All right, so when we find this one, let's hope that this color will show up. I know that yellow highlighter does. All right, this side right here is your left bound. I'm not going to write the word bound again. And then this portion down here is the right bound. Because we talked about on Monday when we demonstrated how you answer the calculator and where you go, you got to put it on the left side and the right side. We talked about going left to right across that calculator for the left and right bound. Okay, does anybody have that one, that number? Grace, you got that one? Yep, 0.8. And if I round it out 2 places, it'd just be like 0.80. Okay, because 2 places. Okay, so that 0.80 is that one right there. Okay, find the last one. All right, again, now this one, because of the way the graph is going, it's going to look just like this one in the sense that this area right here is the left bound or the left side of that x-intercept, and this over here is the right bound. And we probably can't, let's go over just a little bit there. Okay, is the right bound. You got to be able to, you're reading the graph left to right, looking for the left side and right side of each of those x-intercepts. All right. Probably didn't necessarily do a perfect look at that. Okay, so does anybody have that yet? Connor, you being successful? Yeah. Okay, Addison, what'd you get? Oh, say that again. 4 point. I did not get 4.55. I got 4 point. What'd you get? 4.47. Okay, so again, another 4.47. Okay, it takes practice. Practice, practice, practice. Okay, all right. Now, we know that we've only got one y-intercept. All right, we've only got one y-intercept. It's right here. Trying to draw that really big. That's going to be my y-intercept. Okay, so find the y-intercept. Everything is under the second calc menu. Okay, Gavin, what'd you get? You got 4? Okay, Grace, did you get 4 as well? Or have you done it yet? No. All right. Connor, did you get 4? Okay, good, because I'm not checking it online. And I don't know what it is. So, all right. So, we've done a lot. All right. The new thing that I showed you was the auto and ask. Although, like I said, technically that really wasn't new because you were supposed to watch a video last Friday that talked about the auto and the ask. Okay. If you need to rewatch the Zoom meeting from Monday, it's under Zoom meetings and backup videos. Okay. That one's about 45 minutes long because it was like class, 35, 45 minutes long, however long I talked that day. All right. And then if you just need to practice in general about the original 4 or 5 videos, you click on TI-84 tutorials and you scroll down until you see basic functions. And there, I think, is 5 videos under that for basic functions. And those were the 5 that I asked you to watch last Friday, when you were home by yourself, independent on Friday. Okay, so those, if you need to rewatch them more than once, you should have a graphing calculator in front of you. If you're at school and you're doing it and you're in the room, okay, you're practicing in the room, you've got these. If you are at home, you're going to have to use the one on your computer and have it open and the video open at the same time. All right, going through the key sequences, and then you're going to have to keep hitting pause on the video so that you can keep up with the key sequences. Okay. All right, so your goal is to get the things that we have went over so far mastered so that you can do them really, really fast on the graphing calculator. All right, we're going to take a regular test over chapter 1, paper, pencil, on Monday and Tuesday, because there'll be 2 groups, because 2 different people here at school. All right, and then my goal would be for the end of the week sometime. Well, no, because that's going to take 2 days, and then it'll take another 2 days. So it'd probably be the following week. Then we'll probably do a graphing calculator quiz. Or I might be able to squeeze it in Wednesday, Thursday. Probably not. It's probably going to be the first of next week. So you've got a little bit of time. Okay, you've got a little bit of time, but you don't procrastinate because we're going to keep going. Like next week, I'm going to give you some more things to do. Well, Mondays and Tuesdays assignment's going to be scatter plots. So that's going to be something else on the graphing calculator. All right, so we're going to keep going. So just don't get behind on this. All right, so I think I'm done talking. On the calendar, it says today's Wednesday, right? So you are doing the chapter 2 pretest in Math Excel. You need to look to see when it is due. It will tell you in Math Excel when it's due. All right, for those of you at home, I think I'm done. I'm going to stop sharing. All right. And again, I can't emphasize enough. You got to get out there, watch those videos, and practice with the graphing calculator over and over and over. Okay. So see ya. Have fun. Work hard tonight. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. 9 probably going to make that no calculator.